This is an example of a mud map created in the US where feet is used as the base unit. We want to create a full-size model from this base map in the GK+ environment. So what I'm first going to do is to just paste this image into GK+ so we can work from it. Well, I've started GK+, and the first thing to do, of course, is to start a new project. So File and New, and we'll just choose the default for the moment. That puts us into this space, and this little tool up here is the distance tool. So if I measure from one side of the screen to the other, I get 80 units or 80 feet, and that should be enough for us to put our little mud map down full size. So you don't need to do this step, but what I'm going to do is to paste a copy of the mud map into this environment, and I'll put it over on the right hand side so that we can see it. You of course will have that mud map next to you. So this is your first step. Start a brand new drawing. Well, I now have the image of the mud map on the right hand side, and this emphasis now is on making a full-size model of that mud map, and it's 108 deep, the site is, by 55. Let me just zoom in. 55 feet wide by 108 deep. So we can start and draw our first line. So draw line. You could click anywhere you like in the screen down here, and then just move in the direction you want to go in. Notice how as I swing my cursor, there's a dotted line extending through there that says I'll go at 45 degrees, but you want to click in here and type 108 and hit enter. And then notice how a line goes up there but extends past the end of the screen. And there we are. I'll hit the right mouse button and exit from there because there's an extraneous line there, and I'll remove that extraneous line. So we now have the left-hand boundary of the site. I'll just pick this up and move it further over because now we have to use the line command again, and we're going to pick up at the end point there and come over here and snap to the end and just head over here 55 and hit enter. That puts that line in. Now you can just draw down like so, and then right click, repeat the line and jump in here, snap to the end there, and then come over to there, and you could trim one line off and trim the other off, but there's an easier modifier way to do that, and that is to fillet. So we can pick this one, and that fillets off the corner. So now we have our mud map. Now why this emphasis on full size? It's as though we're sitting on that site. Let me just change my view to white so you can see things a little better. The rectangle that we've got now represents the actual site, and we're flying over it, and we're going to look at the building and insert some symbols that represent plants. So I hope you can see that the next step is to put the footprint of that house down. Now in this mud map, we haven't got much information. We've got this little line here that's 8 feet, but we haven't got a lot of other information. We may be able to cheat and just copy the footprint of the building down and then scale it correctly and insert it in. But you, of course, would have put more measurements on your mud map. The key issue is there's the site, full size, and any inquiry we make of that site will give us a real value. So if we said, how wide is the site from, say, here to here, it's going to be close to 55 feet. So can you see it's as though you're on the site there and measuring. Well, I've placed the footprint of the house down, and remember everything's full size, so that if I say, how long is this little section here? You may remember from the mud map, it was 8 foot long. So there we have a full-size model of the house. We've got a sidewalk going along here and a grass verge, so we need to set those in place. And for that, I'll use modify, offset, this line, in this direction, and you'll notice it says specify the through point. Right click and set the distance at 4.8. That's what I measured off the mud map, although it's not dimensioned, and indicate one side, and then the grass verge like so. So this little area through here represents the sidewalk, and this the grass verge. You might want to just click on the end of that line and stretch it out a bit, like so. Click this one and do the same. Be a little careful as you stretch so that you don't stray away from the horizontal. GCAD Plus will look after that for you reasonably well. I'll change my drawing colour back by layer, and we'll put some text down. Draw, text, single line text, and we'll call this, we'll put caps lock on and call that sidewalk, and we'll click in here and put it in position and just change its height slightly and hit enter. So we put a little bit of text in, and we could even copy that text down here and call that the verge, and we're done. So can you see the design is taking place? We need to put the entrance in, and there's a driveway in on the right hand side. So your mud map, of course, would measure the distance from this boundary to the front entrance and the width of the front entrance so that you could put these two in. Well, I've put the entrance walkway in from the sidewalk. The garden bed bends around like so, and so we're beginning to flesh out our design. Let's add a plant specimen across the front here. Were some crepe myrtles, so let's pan back across, remembering you don't need that mud map that I'm showing on the right hand side because you've got it on the desk next to you. So let's go to the library, pick plants, pick standard, and we'll just scroll down and choose a symbol that might possibly represent a crepe myrtle, and we'll pop it in. Now it goes in 3 foot in diameter, so if I use my distance command and measure across, it'll give us about 2.5, 3 feet. Let's scale it, so I'm right clicking, moving out and dragging it out, and then I'll copy it because it looks from the mud map there's a clump of these in that position. Now the crepe myrtle might well be the white one, but it could be a coloured one, and you could easily change that symbol. But the next question we've been asked is, well, yes, I understand this is model space. What about layout space? For that, you go Format and Create a Layout. Click New, choose your sheet, which would in the US be an architectural. Let's take a C-size sheet, and we want it in portrait, and we say OK. That creates another space. Here, Layout, and we see what we've been working on. But I don't want to show that mud map, so I double click, and then I use this magenta box to size the box so that what I see on the architectural C-size sheet is our model. So we print from this space. Of course, we would put our logo and details of the site. But can you see that whatever we do in model space, let's zoom in here again and let's pick another symbol, and we'll imagine that we're putting something like this one down as a group of them like so. Can you see as I copy, and finish, just swing to layout space, and there they are. I'll take off line weight for the moment, and you'll see a very fine representation. If you put line weight back on, it's a little heavier. So I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of how you create a new drawing and when you've got a mud map to work from.